I'm not an operator, I'm not a trainer, I'm not a contractor. I'm just an everyday guy trying to learn how to use the tools that will best help me to defend myself and my family. I'm just one part of this EDC Nation. Hey guys, thank you for joining us here at EDC Nation. Today we are going to focus on another aspect of training that you may have not thought about before. We are out here at Eagle Creek Training Facility, and we will be meeting with Guy Relford, who is owner, CEO, and trainer for Tactical Firearms Training. Guy is not only a legal expert, but he is the go-to guy here in Indiana when you have an issue concerning legal matters with firearms. So let's go talk to Guy, see what he's up to today, and see how you can come to some of Guy's training and add to your portfolio. Hey guys, welcome back. We are here right now with Guy Relford, who is just a staple in our community, a great resource. And I'm going to let Guy introduce himself, and then we'll get into the interview and we can learn a little bit more about him. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, hey, I appreciate it. Well, I'm Guy Relford, and I'm the owner and chief instructor at Tactical Firearms Training, LLC. We do firearms training at an Eagle Creek Pistol Range every weekend. In addition, we operate Eagle Creek Pistol Range for the city of Indianapolis when it's open for public shooting, which is Saturdays and Sundays, 9 to 5.
Well, right now he's just introduced himself as a trainer. However, Guy is just a terrific legal mind. He's a lawyer. And Guy, can you tell us a little bit about that aspect of your life?
Yeah, well, that's my day job.
Okay.
Monday through Friday, and a lot of hours in between. I practice law. I'm with the law offices of Guy Relford. We're in Carmel, we're in downtown Carmel. And really our only purpose as a legal office is to promote and protect Second Amendment rights. And so I'm involved in both criminal and civil litigation issues, trying to protect the rights of gun owners, really. That's it. My sign out front says defending the American Constitution, and that's what we're trying to do.
That is outstanding, man. But why do you do this, Guy? I mean, there's a lot of different things you could be doing. You could be making probably a lot more money, but why are you even concerned about gun rights?
Well, I've just been a lifelong gun owner myself, and it's always been a passion for me. I've been an NRA certified instructor for 15, 18 years now, and been teaching classes sort of on my own. And it just occurred to me a few years ago that I could really combine those things, that I can do what I'm passionate about, which is training folks and helping them be safe and responsible gun owners, and I can also help to protect people's Second Amendment rights. And you know, there are an awful lot of folks out there, whether it's politicians, unfortunately sometimes in law enforcement, although I think most police officers are very much on our side, but some communities are out there really trying very hard to infringe on people's rights, and there aren't a whole lot of folks out there that are willing to take on those fights really just on principle. And that's something that I'd like to do. And so I've decided to combine my passion for shooting and training with what I can do as a lawyer.
Now, Guy, like we talked about earlier, a lot of people right now are carrying guns. They don't know anything about the law. They're not getting any type of training. Can you just walk us through, as a lawyer, from the perspective of a lawyer, if a person is in a shooting, what will happen? Just if you could quickly walk us through from beginning to end, and that's how you see it, what would happen?
Well, as far as everything that happens after the shooting,
right.
The first thing is you need to be very cognizant that anything and everything that anyone says when they call 911 is going to be recorded. So we feel like the best advice at that point is to tell 911, tell the 911 operator what you need and where you need it. I need police and an ambulance and where the location is. If the scene is secure, it's important to tell them the scene is secure, because if an ambulance is needed, an ambulance will not roll in until police verify that the scene is secure.
Should they tell them that they unloaded their 17-round magazine into this guy, or?
Yeah, before they get into any details of what actually happened in the shooting, they ought to have a lawyer present.
Okay.
The best statement to me is, I'll be glad to cooperate fully and give you a full statement after my attorney is here.
Okay. That's great to hear, because I mean, being on the internet, there are a lot of legal experts who have not been trained in legal, or have not gone to law school, have not passed the bar or whatever. But a lot of people are telling different people what to say if they are in an active shooting, and it's good to hear from a lawyer what to say and what not to say.
Yeah, it's really an important point. In a perfect world, in a justifiable self-defense shooting, in a perfect world, to say, I feared for my life, I had to do it, and to give some preliminary indication as to why it was a justifiable shoot. In a perfect world, that might be nice, and a lot of times advice from law enforcement certainly is that's what you should do, at least tell them what happened. The problem is, if you just defended yourself in a life or death situation, your adrenaline is going to be going through the roof. You're going to be suffering from the emotional effects of having just defended yourself. And we don't know until anyone goes through, and I've not been through a life or death situation where I've had to defend myself with a gun. Exactly. If I prevail in that situation, I might be ecstatic just because I'm alive. And I might want to, suddenly the stars are brighter and the grass is greener, and I'm just so happy to be alive that I'm thrilled. I want to skip down the sidewalk. Well, do I want to have that kind of emotion as I'm telling the police what just happened? Because it looks like I'm happy that I just took a human life. Exactly. On the other hand, the other end of the extreme is, I could be seeing, say a young person, a teenager who's now dead on the sidewalk, and I could feel horrible remorse because, my God, I just took a human life, and I feel horrible about that. And I could, just my natural emotional propensity could be, oh my God, I shouldn't have done it, I shouldn't have done it. He's just a kid, he's just a kid. Now suddenly a police officer, very understandably, is going to say, really, tell me more about why you shouldn't have done it. And all you're doing is expressing remorse because you feel bad that the life's been taken. You may feel revulsion, you may just want to throw up. I mean, who knows how you're going to react? Do you want to be making statements that you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life that may affect whether you're a free person or not a free person for the rest of your life when you're suffering from the effects of adrenaline, which by the way make you chatty, and suffering from the effects of all those different emotions that you don't know how are necessarily going to affect you. So in thinking those things through, yeah, in a perfect world, he broke into my house, he tried to kill me, I had to do it, that'd be nice. But most of us aren't going to do that and stop. And so really the best advice from a lawyer is to say, I'll be glad to cooperate. I'll give you a full statement after my lawyer is here.
Well, Guy, you brought up law enforcement now. Law enforcement, they're our friends, they're our buddies, they're there to help us. So a lot of people believe that if a police officer asks them a simple question like, hey, what happened? That's the perfect opportunity. That police officer will be there to support them and help them through that. So why would you not want to help that officer out?
Well, I think the vast majority of police officers are doing a very, very tough job, and they're putting their life on the line trying to protect the rest of us. And I think, I could be accused of being a little bit of a cop wannabe myself. Mm-hmm. So I'm a fan of police officers. The problem is, you may give them a justifiable reason to think you did something wrong just because you said something that under any other circumstances you wouldn't have said. So I don't think police officers are out there trying to frame anybody or trying to take somebody to jail who's innocent. I think they're trying to figure out what happened and to do the right thing. The problem is we can say boneheaded things that give them a reason to think we've done something wrong because of the emotional state that we're in and the physiological effects of being under an adrenaline rush. At the end of the day, we need to understand something else too, and I don't think most people know this or understand this, and that is the decision of whether to take you to jail that night is probably going to be the police officer's decision. Now, he may get on the phone with the prosecutor's office or whatever else, but generally speaking, the cops are going to decide whether to take you to jail. They don't decide whether to charge you with a crime. That's not a police officer's decision. The police decide whether to take you to jail. They write down their report and they communicate with the prosecutor's office, but it's the prosecutor's office, ultimately, potentially a grand jury, but in the vast majority of situations, the prosecutor's office decides whether to charge you with a crime or not. And that is going to be done over hours or days or even weeks potentially. So you got to understand who your target audience is in terms of explaining why you have a justifiable shoot. It's not necessarily those police officers. Got a lot of respect for them, they're doing their job. But they don't decide whether you're going to get charged with a crime or whether you're going to ultimately go to trial for that crime. The prosecutor's office does that. So if at the end of the day your target audience is the prosecutor's office in terms of whether or not they have any reason to believe you committed a crime or any basis to have probable cause to charge you with a crime, why wouldn't you want to have that communication with your lawyer present when you're no longer under that adrenaline rush, when you're no longer having those emotional effects, when you can give them the facts in a way that lets you be the most accurate?
True. When the media needs an expert opinion for a story that they're doing, a lot of times they contact Guy, and we see him on the news a lot. Now, there have been a lot of stories that have been going on with you taking part in, especially down in Evansville, one of the stories. Can you give us a little idea or a glimpse of some of the cases that you're handling right now, as far as you possibly can?
Yeah, I mean, there are limitations on what a lawyer can say ethically about cases that are pending, but We have our case in Hammond is actually right now, we're trying to get in front of the Indiana Supreme Court. That's about whether or not a municipality has to repeal regulation of firearms that violate our preemption statute, or whether they can just leave them on the books. That'll, to some degree, affect our Evansville case, where a gentleman got physically thrown out of a city park zoo for legally open carrying a gun. And we're saying that also violates the preemption statute. I had a case where a Marine veteran was not allowed to vote because he was openly carrying a gun and couldn't go into a fire station. I have a case we just resolved where an employee of a large pharmaceutical chain was terminated because he had a gun while off duty at a store where he did not work. And we just resolved that. But there are several more like that. I've also got criminal cases where people that have been accused of criminal recklessness or pointing a firearm or other firearms-related legal issues, and so those are all still ongoing too.
Right. And Guy, we definitely appreciate everything that you're doing. And guys, we're going to put up dates of guys' classes that are coming up, and give a link to his website and also how you can connect with him on Ingo. But Guy, man, we really appreciate, sincerely appreciate everything that you're doing for the gun community and for our Constitution and for those of us who embrace owning a gun and carrying a gun every day.
Oh, man.
So thank you for being with us, man. And I hope to talk to you again soon.
It's a pleasure to be here, and your words are very kind and appreciated.
Pick the next door up. If you